Okay, by now you should be done with your lab and you're ready to do the final part, which is called the conclusion. So your lab sheet should kind of look like this, where all the columns are filled out with a yes or a no or a 0 or a 1, and they have tallies at the bottom. So double check. Also, you should check that your lab has the full, let me find it here, has the full purpose and hypothesis written. We did these in class. Yours should totally be done. If it's not, you will lose easy points. So make sure you get this written in. Okay, so your lab looks like this now. You're ready for the last step. What you're going to do is go to Google Classroom for Thursday, and you're going to click on where it says Water Bottle CEA. Oops. You're going to get to a screen that looks like this. Okay, the CEA is going to be your conclusion, and there are two major slides you have to do. So the first slide here and the second slide, those are the ones you have to complete for homework. This is going to count in your lab grade, and your lab grade is worth more than a regular homework grade. So you want to make sure that you really pay attention and do a good job for your lab. Okay, so what you're going to do is write the CEA. CEA stands for claim, evidence, argument. So you're going to make a claim about which water bottle percentage worked the best. You're going to share evidence or data from your lab, so what actually the numbers were. And then you're going to make an argument as to why that one was better and possibly why it was better or how. Okay, so we're going to start with the claim. If you look at the claim, it says state which water bottle percentage amount had the most successful flips. One sentence. So you have to write a complete sentence with a starting capital letter and punctuation, and use this red to help you out. So here's a sentence starter you can use. So you can literally type the percentage with the most successful flips was, and then you can tell me which one was yours. All you have to do is go back and look at your data and look for the highest number, right? Put that in a sentence. Okay, so ... continue that. Okay, then you can move on to the evidence. The evidence says provide evidence, which are numbers from the lab that describe what happened with the most successful percentage amount. Needs to be 1 to 2 sentences. So use this red sentence starter. The most successful percentage was blank because, so now you're going to say which one was your most successful percentage and why. And that why is where you share your data. You're going to share the data that you got, like how many flips were successful versus not. Okay, actual numbers from the lab. The last thing is the argument. The argument is where you explain why the data shows that the amount that you chose was successful. You can either compare it to another amount that wasn't as good, or you can predict why that amount was the best. If you want to do both, you can also. This should be 2 to 3 sentences. Okay? Here's this example. This was more successful than blank because, so maybe you found out 100% was more successful. You would say 100% was more successful.
Frankie Blanco Schubert, please come to the main office. Frankie Blanco Schubert, please come to the main office.
Sorry about that. This was more, or 100% was more successful than 75% because, and then include and talk about your data. Okay, that would be an example of what you could do. Or you could use the second sentence. I think this amount worked the best because, and explain why you think that percentage was the most successful compared to something else that didn't work as well. Okay, so throughout all of these, you need complete sentences. You need to follow the directions and look at the comparison or look at the description to determine what you're going to do. When you're done with that, go to the second screen. The second screen says this: conclusions also include a statement about what errors could have happened during the lab. So a conclusion, what's cool about a conclusion is you can say, here's where I messed up. Oops, this is what might have happened in my lab because I messed up. So we're going to practice that. So even if you think about your lab and you think that you didn't even make any errors, like, I don't think I did anything wrong, you're going to pretend that you might have done something wrong or guess what could have possibly gone wrong. And maybe you never even noticed it. So here's what you're going to do. Down here where it says type sentence, you're going to say, write a sentence below that describes a mistake you made or might have made. Okay, so you're going to write a sentence that says the mistake I might have made was, and you're going to describe it. What could have possibly gone wrong, or you might not have even realized during the lab. Then the second part of the sentence is number two. You're going to include how the error affected or could have affected your results. So if you ended up making a mistake or did something wrong that you didn't even realize, how do you think that affected? What do you think it affected in your results? Be specific. Okay. So you can start your sentence. The error I made or could have made was, and then continue full sentence. Okay. When you're done with that, you're going to go to the third slide. The third slide is not anything that you have to do, it's just a checklist. You're going to get a grade on this lab, and it's a meteor grade, okay, which means that it's worth more. So I would go through and check and just make sure I did all these things. So, did you use the sentence starters in red? Did you write incomplete sentences? Did you have a claim that was one sentence? All the checklists. Go through and use it as a way to know whether you're done or not. Okay. The last slide is for people like me. When I do the water bottle flip, I get numbers that are like 0, 0, 1, 0. That's not a lot of data. So if you don't have a lot of data or most of it's zeros, use this last page and pretend it's your data. Okay, so there's a clear winner in this. There's much clearer data in this one. Okay, that's only if you're full of zeros and ones. Okay, so that's what your homework is. Finish the paper part, do the CEA, do the error part, double check that you're all good, turn that sucker in. That's what's due tomorrow. Okay, good luck.